Hi guys, it's Lynn here. I hope you're having an incredible day. Now guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how you can harvest Opuntia fruit pods to get the seed out of. As you can see here, I have 4 floating Opuntia seed pods, and the reason why I've got them soaking in water is that these were a wonderful gift from my very generous friend Michael, who lives in Illinois in the US, and he actually said to us about winter hardy Opuntias. He watched one of the videos and he said, would you be interested in some seed pods? Where he lives, they have a load of wild Opuntia. He's not sure what they are, what type they are, but he said that he's took pods from there and he's successfully grown seeds. So he sent us some through the post. So thank you very much, Michael. And although we don't know what type of Opuntias they are, we know that they are wild Opuntia, and we know that they are winter hardy because he said that their winters get very, very cold, far colder than Ireland anyway. So these should be okay, definitely growing outside in the polytunnel in the winter. And the reason why I'm soaking them is because the fruit pods have been they're ride very, very hard. And to actually harvest them, they need to be sort of soft. And he sort of freshly picked them, and they only came in the post yesterday, so that they're pretty much okay. And a good tip, when you harvest the fruit from Opuntia, you know when it's ready, when it usually goes a dark plummy colour, depending on the species, and usually just feels soft to the touch. In this case, they were soft when he took them, apparently, but they've gone hard now. So I'm just soaking them to soften them up so it's easier to get the seed out. I'll just show you. That's a good little tip when you harvest the seed pods and they are hard because they're overripe, I should say. Then good tip is just to soak them literally for a couple of hours so they're soft enough then to get the seed out of. And what I've got here is a white plate, a white sheet of paper, a card to pour the seeds into the little baggies here, which they're all labelled. I'm going to be sowing these literally in the next couple of days, so that's why I haven't put the date I've harvested them on. Otherwise, if I was going to be storing them for a later date, I'd put the date I'm going to be harvesting the seeds, so I know how old the seeds are. And a white plate, so you can see any seeds that jump off. Some kitchen roll, or in this case, a toilet roll. But it's strong toilet roll. And the reason why I'm going to be doing this is that when I separate the fruit pods, I'll be able to distribute the seed over across and separate the pulp from the seed. And I've made many videos on how to harvest seeds from many different types of cactus. So links up above to a video on actually a playlist of many videos on there on how to harvest seeds from different types of cacti fruit, and also how to pollinate flowers to get the seeds on your cacti. So as I say, cacti is very, very varied in the genesis. So every method is different. So do check that out. But this is purely for Opuntia, and I'm going to show you then. I'm going to show you now these are softened up. They've been soaking for a couple of hours in just lukewarm water. I'm going to show you then how to separate the seed from the fruit. And as I say, you wouldn't normally have to soak them if you pick them when they're pretty fresh. They should be soft enough and squashy enough just to do the next method I'm going to be showing you now. Now for the fun, separating the fruit from the seed. And as there's 4 different types of Opuntia here, not sure what they are, as I say. Michael wasn't sure, but he just said they are some lovely, and they are 4 different varied ones. So I'm going to try and keep the seed completely separate. Now, when it comes to harvesting them, the reason why I'm using this, the dry tissue paper, kitchen roll actually would be better because it's stronger, is because this would absorb the fruit pulp, and over an hour or 2 it will dry out and then leave the seed. So this is what I'm going to be doing. Now all you need to do is literally you can use a little knife, but I always use my nails. Just cut it in half like that, and as I say, it should come out really easy. You can see all that seed in there. Isn't that gorgeous, guys? Lovely and juicy. Wow. And it doesn't look like there's too much pulp, which is great, because these are probably a little bit might be a bit overripe because they were sitting on the Opuntias, where he found them for quite a while. But he sowed some and they germinated. Now, Opuntia can take months to germinate, unlike other types of cactus seeds. It all just depends on the different varieties. And I've grown up from Opuntia a couple of times before with great success. most recent, funny enough, was also from Illinois, from our friend who gave us some Opuntia humifuser seeds. And we sowed them a couple of years ago. So links up above to that video if you haven't seen that one. And they're doing absolutely fantastic now. They're little Opuntias, they're getting bigger and they're thrived. And nearly all of them germinated, which is great. As I say, this one's very easy to harvest. There's not really much fruit in this one. And it just, again, all depends on the different types of Opuntia seeds and varieties. Sometimes you get a lot of fruit. In this case, you don't. So this is good. Probably good that it dried out a lot because the fruit, the pulp would have all gone. And as I say, when it comes to sowing them, it's a little slightly, well, it's the same method as with sowing all types of cacti and succulent seed, but it's a good idea sometimes to soak the seed for half a day or two before you sow Opuntias, because they have got a hard outer coating on them. And I've actually sown seed just straight and they've germinated. I've never actually done the method of soaking them or the scarification that they recommend because they have a hard outer shell. I've never done that. I've always still had success, but I know a lot of growers would swear by scarification, slightly scouring the seed, but to me it seems like a lot of hassle to do that. And as I say, I'd rather just wait a bit longer for them to germinate than the speed. As I say, it's still springtime, so plenty of time for these to grow. And just going to show you this one. And because there's 4 different types, it's going to be interesting to see how the 4 different seed fruit pods actually look when I open them. Because when I've harvested Opuntia before, there's always been a lot of pulp, but there hasn't been in this one, which is great in that way. But just interesting. As I say, the seed's probably a little bit over ripe, but that's not a bad thing. Seeds are very viable, I'm sure. And that's pretty much all the seed there. And obviously you just want to throw the outer coating away there. So I want to make sure that these are all kept separately because there are 4 different Opuntias here. Plenty of seed. And as you can see, it looks fresh. You can even see a little bit of life inside the little green part. So that's great news. So wow. So that's that. So that's going to be pretty easy to harvest into the little bags we've got here. So that's the first one. Make sure there's none on my hands. Now then, number 2, much smaller pot. Again, same method. Crack it open. Again, brilliant. They've got much bigger seeds. You can see the different types of Opuntia. That's a much larger seed than this one. So that's great. Easy as well. I'm so glad that it's going to be. As I say, when you do have seed pods that are fully ripe, there's usually less pulp because they've dried up over the time, and that's so much easier to harvest. There you go. That one's done already. Again, pod away. Much bigger seeds. They're huge. Look at that. Oh, aren't they gorgeous, guys? Love growing from seed. And nice big seeds here. Now, just the 2 left. So the next one is this one. Again, same method. Crack it open. Again, nice dry seeds. Happy days. Just make sure you can see that on there. You can, guys. So, oh, great. This is going to be so much easier than I thought. I've always had to deal with so much pulp before. And as I say, when it comes to sowing seeds, I'm going to be making a video when I sow these seeds, probably in the next couple of days. So stay tuned, guys. And there's never any success when it comes to sowing seeds. I'll just move this up so you can see a little bit more what I'm doing here. There's never any success, guaranteed success. I've always been very lucky, but I've sowed seed and I've had none germinate. And I've sowed seed and I've had plenty germinate. It's just the luck how it goes, as they say. But it'd be interesting. It's always nice when you've been gifted seeds from people, especially from the country they're from, and they've been grown wild. It makes it extra special. So there you go. That's the other one. Again, 3 different types of Opuntia seeds, different colours as well, as you can see there. Look, very different. That's sort of like a sandy colour. That's orange, and that's very sort of like a pale lemony colour. So that's great. 4 different. Now the last one, guys. I'll just move this up just so you can see there. I'm going to put that there. Again, split it open. Again, this looks like another dry one. Happy days. That's great. A bit more pulp in here, but still, just check that's part of the flower head. It's wonderful. That's great, isn't it? So stay tuned, and obviously when I sow them, I'll make a video when I sow them, and I'll report back on future progress. But I know when I sowed Opuntias before, most recent one was Opuntia humifuser seeds, and they did take about 3 to 4 months to germinate. So they do take a while. I say that usually the thicker coating on the seed, the longer. And as I say, some people do like to scarificate their seeds, especially Opuntia seeds, before sowing them, as this helps speeds germination, also guarantees a bit more of success as well with germination rate. But I'm afraid I'm a bit lazy when it comes to that. But I may possibly soak these this time for maybe a day beforehand, because that's always going to give them a bit of a head start. So, but I say I haven't in the past. I've usually just sowed them and they've done pretty well. So it depends. But the seed looks pretty good anyway. Happy days, guys. So thank you, Michael, for this as well. It's very generous of you. And we always love sowing from seed. It's all so exciting. And oh, this one's much stickier on here. There's a bit more pop in this one, you see. That's great anyway. So that's that pretty much all done. And that's the empty shell there. And just the tiniest, check there's any more in here. So that's basically how to harvest the seed from Opuntia. It is very easy, guys. The trick is knowing when it's ready to harvest. And you will know because the pod will be soft and squashy. And they usually, depending on the variety, sometimes go like a deeper red colour. You know, if the fruit is firm or still green or anything, you know it's not ready to harvest. It's usually juicy and very spongy. And that's when you know. So now what I'm going to do now is just obviously put these 4 different types into the little bags. I'm going to leave it a little bit, probably about half an hour, just so they're totally dry in here before I put them into the bags. The reason being is that because they are still a bit sticky, that if I was to put them in the bags now, they could encourage it to form a little bit of fungus on. So it's important that the seeds are completely dry before you put them into the little bags or the envelopes, whichever you prefer. So I'm just going to switch the camera off now. I'm going to show you when I put them in the baggies. Now, guys, I've let the seeds dry up for about 3 hours now, and they're all pretty dry. And what you need to do then is obviously make sure that the tissue paper or the kitchen roll you're using, the absorbent tissue paper, is completely dry. And then you know it's ready to loosen up the seeds. And here, as you can see, just gently, they're coming away very easy anyway, gently loosen up. You don't want to pull hard on them because you don't want to damage them, just gently enough to scrape away from the tissue paper so they come away easy. And then like this. And that's obviously being careful not to mix them up. Pretty much loose anyway, which is great here. And there, just gently lift them off so they come away easy. And then all you have to do then is the best bit of all, is put them into the little baggies. Now, if you're sowing these seeds straight away, there's no need to store them. Just literally, obviously, put them into your planting mix. And if you've never grown cacti or succulents from seed before, then links up above to a video I have made on how to grow cacti from seed. And the method is the same for cacti and succulents. And I prefer to use the bag method, which I put them into little bags. And then I keep them in there for a number of months until they're ready to come out. And it's really personal choice. You don't have to use the bags. And you don't have to sterilise the soil like I do in the videos. I know many growers who just literally sow them straight away in the soil and have fantastic success. So do whatever you want, but I'm only showing that video how I sow my seeds and grow them. And I have great success that way. And by sterilising the soil, putting it in the microwave or either in the oven, it does help to minimise the chance of fungal infections that sometimes do happen when seeds do germinate. But again, it is purely optional. I find I have great success that way, and I share that in that video. As I say, links up above. Now, as I say, just these little seeds then are just going to go into the bags, and I will be sowing these probably in the next couple of days, but I'm still going to be putting them into little bags to store them for now. And I say if you're sowing them straight away, you can just sow them straight away. But if you're not going to be sowing them for a number of weeks, months, or even years, because cacti seeds, especially Opuntias, can actually stay viable for several years. So it's good to, as long as they're stored in a safe place, a dry place, away from intense heat, they can keep for many years. So here, what I'm going to be doing here, now what I've used here is one of my business cards. I'm showing off my business card here. And what I'm doing then is just turning it over. And I actually think it's better to do it this way because it's easier to put them into the little baggies, scraping them all in like this. And I'll probably just put a couple in some baggies and some in another here. Just put that down on here a minute because to open the bag. And as I say, if you're not going to be sowing the seeds for a while, always put the date you're harvesting the seeds. For example, if I wasn't going to be sowing these now for a few months or certainly for a couple of years or so, I would definitely put the date I've sowed these on. Sorry, not sowed, the date I have harvested the seeds on. But in this case, I'm going to be just putting them, labeling what it is, because I'm going to be sowing these next couple of days. And there you go, that's a little bag. And then you just do that with all of these. And I'm going to show you what they're like when they've all been done. Now, there you go, guys. That's all the seeds bagged. Now, I've got a few extra bags that I've bagged up, obviously for to give away to friends and things. But these are the ones that we're going to be keeping for ourselves in here and label them. And look at that, the different variations in the 4 different types of Opuntias. As I say, Michael, who gifted us these seeds, doesn't actually know what Opuntias they are. He just says they're big ones that were growing in the wild by where he lives. So they're obviously sort of winter hardy, which is great. And look at the difference in the 4 different ones. They're great, aren't they, guys? So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for a video coming up in the next few days of me sowing these Opuntia seeds, 4 different types. I'm going to be showing you, I'm going to be showing the method that I use to sow them and also to germinate them. And stay tuned. If you're watching this video in the future, the links up above will be to that video. So guys, thanks so much for watching. I want to send you loads of love, heaps of happiness and tons of cactus power. As always, from Ireland. And until the next video, guys, bye.